Welcome to Thriver TV, the place to break free from narcissistic abuse with quantum tools and understandings. So today's episode is about grey rock, and lots of narcissistic abuse communities talk about doing grey rock. And you know, if you've done a lot of research in narcissism and narcissistic abuse recovery, you may have already heard about it and researched it, or you might even be using it right now with a narcissist in your life. For those of you who don't know what grey rock is, it is this. It means you fade into the background to remove yourself as a source of narcissistic supply to a narcissist. And it means that you becoming so bland and disinterested, boring and non-engaged that the narcissist tires of trying to use you for narcissistic supply and therefore needs to hit someone else up for it. And this is done by answering the narcissist in monotones, offering nothing emotional or beyond the absolute basic necessities. So meaning after a time, the narcissist will need to go elsewhere for his or her dose of self-medicating drama. I'm definitely a fan of grey rock, but not on its own. Rather, I like to talk to people about grey rock for real. And in my experience of a decade of helping people recover from real worldwide, I've seen many people grant the narcissist no emotional energy, yet energetically they still have the trauma and the resentment and the judgment wedged inside their bodies, which means that the narcissist is still hooked to them energetically and therefore still impacting their life. And because of this, the narcissist is still able to act out and punish them and the people and things that are important to them. The quantum truth why this is still happening is this. Because the taking on of the evolutionary gift and the healing of the connection, which means releasing the trauma from inside the person that represents what the narcissist is dishing out to them, has not taken place yet. And the worst thing about all of this is these people are still hurting and they're not thriving. What Pema Chodron famously said is this: nothing ever goes away until it teaches us what we need to know. And I believe no truer words have ever been spoken in regard to narcissists, because they simply do not let up until the soul contract, which is the reason why they've impacted our life, has been accepted and healed to completion. And there is only one true way of stopping a narcissist throttling us, and or to exercise from our inner being the terror campaign that lives on within us, even if the narcissist is no longer in our life. And that is to heal ourselves from the triggers, the original wounds, which allowed them to hook us, hurt us, and get to us. Grey rock alone doesn't get us to the ultimate destination of a true thriver, of narcissistic abuse recovery, which is this: when someone no longer emotionally affects our mind or spirit in any shape or form, that is when they cease to have any power over us. And we are free when able to be a generative source of our own love, approval, security, and survival with other available healthy components of life. We can do that then, regardless of what this person is or isn't doing. Healing and inner being development at this level isn't produced at a head level. It's only possible through the detox of everything that hurts. The traumas that the narcissist represents, including our original traumas from childhood, which are intermingled, being released from our inner identity so that they just don't exist anymore. Anything else is the trying to live with these traumas which the narcissist has blown up into our consciousness, which are not going away until we heal them for real. Grey rock is not that level of healing. Attempting to manage our internal traumas that we're not releasing and healing, even whilst employing grey rock, means there is still going to be a diminishment of our life force, because the fear and trauma still has a life of its own within us and still allows the connection with the narcissist. Even if he or she does let go and move on physically, the damage, that is unhealed still traumatizes our inner being. And then we've got to bury it. We've got to go into denial, or we've got to disassociate from it. And disowned trauma inside us only does push-ups in the background, gathering strength, because it wants and needs to get our attention in order to activate our love and healing towards these parts of ourselves, in order to come back to our true state self of wholeness. When we suppress trauma, whether we're working with grey rock or not, it will be felt as depression, which is internalized trauma, or addictions, which is the needing to burn off the anxiety of the disowned trauma, or anger bursting through to the surface as a projection of the trauma that unfortunately can damage the people we love, or a handing over of our power when the narcissist triggers a still existing trauma that we just can't detach from reacting to. Grey rock, for real, means it's not an act. It means we are totally disinterested and we're granting no energy, not as something we have to force ourselves to do, but because there are no longer any wounds inside us that match what the narcissist is trying to get at us with. We feel nothing other than wanting to detach, ignore the rubbish, and take calm, fearless, proactive action, if applicable, instead. And rather than being in the defensive stance of, I have to keep up grey rock and batten down the hatches, rather, we're just getting on with life, generating our own future. And this means we no longer sell out, we no longer lock down, hide out, or walk on broken glass terrified about what the narcissist may do. We no longer dumb down, fear the narcissist, or hand power over. If we need to take action, we do so from a calm, centered, mature inner identity perspective, without being triggered into our young, unhealed wounds that previously meant any action that we take and the people we generate to help us will match the inner trauma and be ineffective. Those triggers and wounds just don't exist anymore. We cleaned them all out diligently previously when they appeared. The narcissist, therefore, starts to lose power and influence significantly. Grey rock is a great starting point. It means we stop trying to beat the narcissist at their own game. We don't argue, lecture, and prescribe, or try to force them to get it, which is what every narcissist wants. The drama of knowing that you are so affected and focused on them that they must be significant. But this is another deeper truth that most people are not telling you about in relation to grey rock. It's this: even if you are not on the surface offering up any combative energy to the narcissist, he or she is still getting an energy feed if you are unhealed and emotionally affected within your inner being. Which means you're still being triggered and you're still obsessing about them and what they have done or may do, etc. Narcissists are psychic vampires who feed off this as sure as an invisible pipe is being inserted into you with the narcissist at the other end, sucking out your life force. This is why grey rock alone is not the full answer. You have to evict these people and the trauma and your trauma from earlier life that matches this trauma out of your inner being, because that is when you get clean and free from narcissists. That is when they can no longer operate in your energy field or in your life. So I really hope that this has helped you clear up any confusion you may have regarding grey rock and healing for real. And please come across to the blog to join the conversation about this topic. It's a great topic to talk about at blog.melanietoniaevans.com. And that's it for this episode. So until the next one, keep healing, keep smiling, and keep thriving, because there is nothing else to do. Lots of love. Bye-bye.